Muscle testing has chosen you, and I'm not sure why, but it did. Okay, now can you describe for me, what am I looking into? What is the thing?
Well, my vision.
Ah, yes, the vision. I remember that. Okay, and I remember the vision, right? Was it blurry or was it?
I can't see. I have macular degenerate.
Okay, so they actually had diagnosed a macular degeneration. Right. Okay. Okay, let's ask some questions here. So first, I take a second here. And what I'm doing is I'm just kind of setting an intention for like, what am I trying to do here? It never hurts to say a prayer either. Okay, are we connected? Yeah, 100%. Am I going to get accurate information? So what I'm doing there is I'm pulling my fingers apart. I'm either feeling strength or weakness, okay? Strength means, yeah, that's true. No means, yeah, no, you don't have that right, okay? And so I asked, are we connected? It says yes. 100%, yes. And is she going to be honest with me? And that said yes. You'd be surprised how many people you ask the last one there and says, no, they're going to give you phony answers. And then I got to sit here and figure out, well, why are they going to give me phony answers? Then you have to figure out why, right? And sometimes it's because the person has something they don't want me to find, right? They have this thing they're embarrassed about or something like that, or there's just things like that. But hey, she's actually honest, so that's good. So you're going to see me looking a lot at my iPad here, and that's because we have an app on here in the body code where I just look at, okay, a bunch of different categories for why somebody has something. The first thing that comes up for you is that your acupuncture system, which we call the meridian system, is having a problem, the whole thing. So anybody who's had acupuncture, right, those channels in the body, those energy channels, are where they needle on to try to help you with your problems. And now I'm kind of asking the question, though, but why does your entire meridian system have problems? And the first thing coming up is an environmental toxin. All right, so environmental toxins, right? Those are just things in the air, the water, the food, whatever it might be. So do I need to know more about it? I don't. A connection, anything special to let that go? And in that case, the answer is no. And so what does that mean? Well, that means I can just get rid of it. So we're remotely connected. So I'm just doing energy work to pull that energy out, and it's gone. That's it. So now if it was actually truly something physical, okay, like if she still actually had the physical toxin in her body, it may have told me to do something else. So instead of energy work, it may have said, oh, you need to give her a homeopathic. You need to put a magnet on this part of her body to help stimulate that thing to release. But in this case, because the physical thing was gone, but the vibration was still there, you could do energy work on that. So does she still have that energy? It's gone. Anything for the meridian system, and that's cleared. So I'm already back to home screen and asking, yeah, she's got visual problems. And now it's bringing me to energy or emotional category, and it's bringing me to emotions. In particular, it's bringing me to a type of emotional thing called a heart wall. And so this is in the emotion code, first level. So heart walls are basically a way to protect your heart from getting more injuries psychologically, right? When you go through hard times, you kind of build up a protection around your heart, right? And then if you have too much of that, you get physical symptoms. In this case, it would be vision problems or vision damage. So more details about that heart wall, a connection to it, no. Anything special to remove it? And nothing special, at least you're nice to me. You're easy to me. But maybe that's because we already know each other. So release the heart wall, that's gone. And I don't even have to check if it's gone because I already felt it go down my back. When I first started doing energy work, I didn't actually feel energy move. So I really wasn't sure, besides with muscle testing, to know I was actually doing anything. And then eventually it just seemed that ability just seemed to pop up one day, which was funny. The third thing that's coming up, emotional reverberation. So this is kind of like the leftovers of an emotional thing you went through. So you kind of got through it, but it's almost like there was a bell and you rang the bell, but there's still this leftover energy that keeps emitting in your body. So let's see if we have to know more about that. No connection to it, anything special. Nope, same thing. So we're just going to get rid of this leftover emotional reverberation, and that's gone. And let's see if there's more. Okay, now here's what's interesting, right? So now her body's telling me, well, there's nothing left. Now, that could be true, okay, because issues kind of come in layers. So sometimes you only have so many layers to a problem that's available on a day. That could be true. But if her symptom is really bad, I doubt there's only 3 reasons right now that are kind of cooking and doing this thing. So why is it saying no? Well, there could be a bunch of reasons, which I'm going to ask about right now psychologically, okay? The first question I'm going to ask is, does your subconscious version of yourself actually want to fix the problem? And
Yes.
you do, but your subconscious does not. So see, you're not in congruence with the deeper trauma version of yourself. You want it gone, but the little you that's inside says, no, I actually don't want this to go away. So then what happens? Even if you do everything perfectly, right? You eat the right diet, you put the special drops in your eyes, you go to the 10 people to fix it, none of it's gonna work because the deeper you doesn't want it to work. So let's just see, okay, so why does your subconscious person want to hold on to this problem? And I found over the years, right, this is one of the reasons I asked this question, right, because it took me a long time to figure this out, because there was a couple people that have come through my practice where they have a very severe symptom, but all of a sudden, right, their body after 3 things says, that's all I got, right, and none of those 3 things are that exciting, right? I think we can all agree, number 1, 2, and 3 really didn't go that deep, right? Why did it do that? Because her subconscious was dictating what information I was getting and said, yeah, I don't really want to go too deep. I'll give you a couple things just to satiate you to go away, but I'm not going to give you the real meat of this problem, right? So now we're kind of in the real weeds, because now we got to figure out, why is the subconscious fighting it? And we're going back to emotional stuff, back to a heart wall. So once again, protecting the person, right? Her subconscious says, hey, I've been hurt a bunch of times. I don't want you to add to that list. Okay, so do we need more details about that, a connection to it, a special way to get rid of it? No. So we're just going to break down another heart wall. Okay, nice. Do you still got that? No. Subconscious is still holding on to this. That's true. So that's the funny thing about subconscious, is the subconscious is willing to tell me why the subconscious is programmed weird. It's just not willing to tell me yet about the eyes. Another heart wall. Okay, details about this one. Not where it came from, not where you have it, and when did it form? Okay, so this is a timing thing. So is that in this life? Oh boy, well that's a bummer. It says no. Past life, that's true. So I think when I worked on you a long time ago, we figured out you had a lot of past life stuff. No surprise there. 1 life ago, 2 lives ago, 2 lives ago. All right, so you've been busy. More details, a connection, anything special to let it go. And no, we don't have to know much more, so just let it go. And the funny part is about this type of work is it's so simple that people really think nothing's happening. And that's a fact. I mean, it just looks so simple, right? Because a lot of times when you do energy work with people, there's a lot of dramatics, right? You have to like close your eyes, and there has to be smells and sounds and home and all that stuff. But that's not how I roll. I actually try. I'm actually more just asking questions and just one time plucking something out. I'm kind of like a surgeon in that way. So, all right, is your subconscious still holding on to this problem? Hey, nice, good for you. Okay, so it's not holding on to it anymore. So let's see if it gives me more information just for fun. And that's true, it is. Okay, so let's go to energy. Yeah. Mental. Yep. And now we're going into your programming. So this is good. This is probably why you got picked. So programming is the self-limiting beliefs that you form based on trauma and experience going through life. Okay? So a perfect example of why one of these would form. Let's say I'm like, I don't know, 6 years old, and I have a mom who's like hypercritical. I'm just picking something. It's a common one I find with a lot of women. Hypercritical mother, and she makes a comment about my belly looking a little big or something. Now I form a self-limiting belief of I'm ugly. And I hold on to that my whole life, even though I don't even remember this comment that she made, okay? That's how these types of things form, and they can form in any direction of all types. That's one version. So do we have a singular program? We do, it's just one. So I'm gonna go into the programming section. So this is why you're picked, because you're good on the psychology piece. And we're going to safety, all right, issues with feeling safe. And we're gonna go a little deeper, figure out what exactly is it. It's not that. No, it's not that either. Okay, let me write that down. I'm gonna ask a couple more probing questions here. That. Okay. Is it something specific? It is, that happened in this lifetime as a child, as a teenager, 10 to 15, 10 years old, 11 years old, 12 years old, 13 years old, 14 years old. Details about it, a connection, anything special to let it go. Okay, so I'll ask you a question now. I don't need to know this, okay, but I'm kind of curious, and if you don't care what it is, if you can remember it, to share it. Age 14, you formed a self-limiting belief. I fear that this, whatever that thing is, will happen again. So something happens to you at 14 and all of a sudden you are deathly afraid that that same situation or trauma or whatever it was going to happen a second time. So things I find, deaths in the family or friends or pets. You know, one of your family members go through a hard time financially or otherwise. There's a lot of different things that can happen. You're also age 14, so you're talking teenage years. So people can be very mean at the age of 14. There can also be big transitions at the age of 14. Now, we don't have to know, because I'm going to pluck it out either way. Okay. But I was just curious, kind of think on that, and if it comes to you, just more for people's interest, you know, because then we could test and see if whatever you come up with is what it is.
I was separated from my mother.
Okay, does that have anything to do with anything? That's true. Is that the entirety of it? No, there's also something else. So that's part of it, but there's a second piece in there somewhere. Okay. So if you remember it, let me know. But I'm just going to get rid of this. So I'm just going to erase this. I fear this will happen again. Age 14. Woo, spicy, still coming out. That's a big one. Okay, anything stuck with that? Did I get the whole thing? Do I have to replace it? No. And you can kind of see how that would make sense then, though, with the safety feature, right? Is without her realizing it, because of what she went through as a child, she's subconsciously putting up fronts or walls, right, to me or other people as well, to not get too deep in there, right? Because some bad stuff has happened, and that makes sense. You remembered it or no? Oh, I thought you remembered it for a sec. Oh, you did remember it. More to it? Okay, keep it to yourself then. I can see it's too big. So I'm not gonna out whatever it is because I can tell it's uncomfortable. So whatever that is, we're gonna let that go. Okay, so once again the question is, more on this, or is the subconscious now holding on? See, now this is what's interesting is, so after removing that, now the subconscious says, ooh, he's getting even closer to bigger stuff. I better wall up again, another layer. So you can see how the psychology, right, it's in layers like this, where it was okay with me probing before I removed this, and all of a sudden it's like, oh crap, he can actually get in there. He can actually get close to some bigger things that I'm very uncomfortable with. Are you too uncomfortable if I keep digging things?
No.
Okay. So let me just ask why your subconscious is still holding on to it. So this is one of the big things where your psychology of your trauma and how you've been programmed is massive in terms of your ability to actually fix your physical body, right? So another heart wall comes up. I'm not surprised. Anything special to let it go? Nope. So we got to break down another layer. Woo. Now we're really getting into some spicy stuff. Okay. Is it still holding on to the problem? Okay. So then is there something else causing the vision issues? Yes. Uh-huh. Let's at least get one more big one, because I know we're kind of treading in the big weeds here. More heart walls. Heart wall it is. Details about it, when it formed, where you got it from, where you hold on to it. Now that's interesting. So the where component is, okay, we have a heart wall. I just want you to imagine it in your head, okay? But now I need to know where you've stuffed it. Physically or energetically, you've actually picked a place to put it. So it's not in the eyes, though. So that's, I'm sure you're like, tell me it's in the eyes, tell me it's in the eyes. It's not in the eyes. It is in somewhere physical, though. So let's go to organs. It's taking me to organs. A particular organ, sure, why not? And it's taking me to your bladder. That's interesting. Okay, so it's in the bladder. Is it anywhere else? Nope. Details, a connection. Anything special to let it go? Nah. So we'll just clear that heart wall out of your bladder. Ooh, boy. Get out of there. Spicy, it's still coming. Have you had any bladder symptoms?
Yes.
Ah. Ugh. Okay. Making me teary-eyed. That was really big, surprisingly. So that's the weird thing is, once again, like when I first got into this, right, I remember the first person I worked on was my girlfriend, right, because I wasn't really sure. It was simple to just do this and just call it a day on something, right? Because my experience with energy work at that point had always been very in-depth. You had to kind of go really crazy with it, right? And I was like, it's that simple? You just pluck it and that's it? You just walk away? Like that's so simple. It seems silly. And so when I first did it on her, I didn't feel any energy. And then it was funny. So after bringing it into the clinic, after it worked on her, even though I didn't feel anything, I had a patient one time, and I went like this, and all of a sudden I felt this giant thing shoot down my butt, through my cheeks and into my leg. I went, whoa! I was like, what was that? Right? I was like, that was weird. And she was like, what happened? I was like, oh, I felt this weird shock that went down my back, into my butt, down my leg. When I didn't put two and two together. I just thought I was slouching too much. I was like, okay, I'm gonna slouch, And then I did another one. I got another shot down my back, into my butt, down my leg, and I started figuring out every time I do this to fix her, I keep feeling this weird thing to shoot down my back. And so eventually I thought, oh, maybe this is that weird energy thing that all these energy people always talk about feeling. And I'm getting quite a reckoning of it because it seems to be very potent. It goes down my back. So anyway, so that's how I can usually feel if something's big, because I can actually feel energy move before I even muscle test it. So you still got that heart wall. Good. That was good. That was a big one. Something else for the eyes and macular at the moment. Okay, now it gives me a no. Is your subconscious holding on to it? Okay, cool. I have no's on both of those. The last question I'll ask, just so we can get another volunteer, because I could keep probably digging on this another forever. Is there any homework that I should give you to work on this? That's actually true. Okay, it's not something you should take, something you should do, no, something you should read, no, reconnecting, no. Changing something, oh boy, here we go, got to change something. It's not your diet, it's not something physical, no. Changing how you think about something. Okay, so let's just see how you're thinking. So I'm going to go back into beliefs, because beliefs can also be thoughts. And let's just see what the type of thinking is that you need to change and work on in your spare time. No big homework. I always give big homework, so that's a big homework. And the thought is, is this a general way of thinking? Do I have to change anything about it? You don't get anything for life and free. Everything in life has a cost to it, and everybody's kind of got this little background like they're going to charge me to do something thing. That's got to change, because what it's saying is that actually is affecting your eyes, because it's changing how you view people. So that's no big homework or anything, but that says that's what the homework is for you. You have to change that some people may just want to help you, and that they don't want something nefarious or some other reason why they're helping you. Sound cool? Mm-hmm. I only give big pieces of homework, I don't give the easy ones, right? I'm like, you just have to change your whole life and perspective. There's nothing, no big deal, It's like the same thing as just sweep the floor or something, right? Just change a part of yourself, right? But, I always try to give people the homework they need, not what people want to hear. So I always just tell people what it tells me to tell them. And then, unfortunately, some people love it, and some people are like, that was a hard thing to hear, right? But that's why people want me to tell them, right? Because if we don't tell ourselves these things. Kind of like I was saying earlier, right? We're our own worst critic in that way, where we avoid some of the things that we need to hear about ourselves, because it takes an outside force to tell us about ourselves more. So if someone tested me and they told me something about myself, I'd be like the same thing. Woo, that's kind of deep. Okay, questions, comments, concerns?
No, but will it affect my vision?
Let's see. Not yet.
Okay.
I'd have to go a lot deeper, it says. But it's a start to something. So, and you might be a good case for some of those demo nights I'm doing now. I'm doing demo nights where I just work on people and other people can watch. So you might be a good one to bring in and work on it more in one of my demo nights for fun.
Okay.
And there's no charge for any of that. People just come, and usually it's about 18 or 20 of us. We hang out kind of like this, and I just sit like this and I work on people. And usually I throw a couple pointed sticks in the audience, and people fight. It's kind of like a gladiator thing. You kind of have to fight to try to get up to the chair, right? So just be prepared for battle. But
okay.
Yeah, but you might be a better one for that, because like your body's telling me this is going levels deep and probably more into your programming of safety. The theme that I'm getting with this is that there's a lack of feeling safe. And so then you're putting up walls. And one of the metaphysical things with eyes, right, vision problems in particular, is people don't want to see things. So that is like the manifestation metaphysically, right, is I don't want to see bad things. Or I don't want to hear bad things. So people lose vision, or they lose, right, the ability to hear things because they're trying not to observe trauma. And how does that build? Well, usually you went through trauma. So, and like we're kind of finding there, it sounds like you went through some pretty harsh stuff. Mm-hmm. And so you may have at some point just said in your subconscious, right, because you kind of found there, right, that the smaller subconscious you and you are on totally different journeys and pages. You're on the journey of being more open and more metaphysical, and I'm a spirit being, and everybody's love, and this is great, and we're all going to embrace, okay? But your subconscious is on like, I'm going to put up walls, I'm going to keep you over there, right? We can't trust these people, they have a nefarious, they're trying to do something nefarious to me. and you're putting up fronts without realizing you're putting up fronts. And then your eyes are just a reflection of, right, the deeper you that says, yeah, I don't want to see or hear about any of this. I want to keep this out of my life. So that's just the metaphysical kind of fun part about it. Where does it translate into the physical?
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll send you an invite to that if you want to come and be
Okay.
another volunteer again. That'd be kind of fun.
I appreciate it.
I still have your pen cup you made me. You made me a little pen cup.
Everybody has one of those.
Yes. Well, okay. Well, I thought I was special. No, she was honest. She said I make these all the time, but I still have it.
Everybody in Glendale, North Glendale has some.
Well, I've heard they've become a treasure. They're getting traded out. There's a serious value there that's starting to build. They're starting a collector's item. Okay, thank you. Can we give her a round of applause? Because that's a lot. That's some deep stuff. Okay. Do I have another brave volunteer? Okay, I see the excitement. I won't muzzle test it. I just see you're excited. You and I chatted. Now, let me guess. You want me to ask about the rotator cuff shoulder thing? Oh, nice. Okay, cool. Give it to me. What am I asking about?
Grief.
Grief. Okay. Long-term grief? Recent? Okay. That's all I need to know. And the reason I want to know too much is once again, you and I talked about not wanting to bias. I don't want to bias it, right? So I don't want to be sitting here being like, okay, so-and-so died in 1991 in a car accident. I don't want to know. I'd rather just kind of let it riff. Okay, so I'm just going to disconnect from our last folk here and spend some energy on you. And let's set an intention of, hey, let's figure out long-term grief a little bit. Whew, I'm already feeling something spicy. Are we connected 100%? Is she going to be honest with me? Okay, cool. Let's see what's going on here. Long-term grief. Right off the bat, we're going into some kind of emotional energy. That didn't take very long. Oh, this is kind of interesting. A miasm comes up. A miasm is actually either physical or psychological health issues that you inherited from families. This is kind of interesting. Mom's side of the family, dad's side, both sides of your family. So that's kind of interesting. So you're getting it from both sides. Okay. Do I need to go further than that? No. Do I need to know more about it, a connection, anything special to let it go? Well, that's kind of fun. So basically what that just means is you have grief on both sides of your family that's historical and kind of passing from generation to generation. And you just got like the really lucky part, you kind of got a 2-for-1 deal. You got slapped on both sides. So just let that go. Real easy. Ooh, yeah. Okay, we're upgrading. Spicy. Okay, still got that? No, that's okay. That's gone. Let's go deeper into the grief. So that's gone. We're going to mental trauma. A memory. So a memory is exactly what it sounds like. It's a memory that's no good. Obviously, this is not when you got your first, golden retriever and you celebrated it, right? Because we don't want to get rid of those types of things. Details about it. I don't have to know more about it. A connection. Anything special to release it. Nope. So we're just going to let go of this leftover bad memory energy. Ooh, not a good memory. Okay. Is there more to this grief? Oh, yeah. We're not there yet. Okay, new category, I like it. Okay, this is a good one actually. This is an intolerance to an idea, okay? So this is like, I don't really like that idea, even if it's a good thing. And then emotionally and physically, believe it or not, you will start feeling certain things to try to lock yourself up and get away from that thing. So let's see what idea it is. What is this idea that you're like really opposed to in the subconscious? Now that doesn't mean you consciously know this, okay? But this is subconscious. Okay, it's something down here. Mm-hmm. Ah. Is that what it is? And that is leading to a grief long term? That's interesting. Details about it, a connection, anything special to let it go? Well, you're one of those folks, without realizing it, you have an intolerance to making money. So that's kind of interesting. So your deeper subconscious says, making money, not a good thing. Keep it away from me. So here's one of the interesting things, right? I'll just pick a physical thing, okay? Because I know you have a shoulder thing you're telling me about, right? The more money you make, the more your shoulder might hurt. The less money you make, all of a sudden you might physically feel better for some reason. And that's a really weird thing, but actually extremely common. Now, why would that build? One thing I remember, this is a case I remember years ago, I had a younger person, she was maybe like 20, and she always wanted to know why she never made money. She was broke all the time, right? Things would always happen, right? Her car would break down, and then there goes whatever money I saved, or my tire would blow out, or my HVAC would go out, and she could never make money. And she was like, this doesn't make any sense. And what I found was a similar thing, right? Her subconscious said, I don't like making money. And she's like, well, that can't be true. I want to make money so bad. I really want it. And I was like, nope, you don't want it. What we ended up kind of boiling it down to was her dad, right, was a really rich CEO of his own company. He did very well. Well, typically when you get to a CEO role, right, what do you kind of start slacking on? Well, you probably slack on family. So he was never around, right? So dad's never around, daughter-dad relationship doesn't go so well. So now she associates making lots of money with, I'm going to be like my dad. And so what does subconscious say? Perfect. No money for you then, right? Because you don't want to be like your dad. And then all of a sudden it makes total sense, right? So let's get rid of that, because I would love for you to make more money. Are you still in the workforce?
No.
Okay, good. That's good. Okay, so does she still have that? No. Why else do you have long-term grief? Now, why does it lead to grieving? Who knows? That would be a good question, is why would that lead to grieving? Hard to say, but it was connected for some reason. Your next big thing is what we call an idea allergy. It's the exact same type of thing we just did, but it's stronger. It's like, no, I'm telling you, I really don't like that thing. Get it as far away from me as possible. Ooh, this is a good one. Details about it, a connection, anything special, let it go. An idea allergy to, now, is that your own? No. Is that other people's into your things? No. Other people's about anything specific? That's interesting. Let me write that down. Hold on. I'm going to get the whole spectrum of that because that's kind of unique. Is that what it is? Yeah. Is it yours? No. An idea allergy to when other people are curious. When other people have a lot of curiosity about things, for some reason that's emotionally triggering you in some way. Is there a reason for that? That's kind of interesting. Or have you ever noticed that? Like if people all of a sudden are very curious or something around you, all of a sudden you start getting a little bit irritable or like...
Yeah, sometimes.
What is that? Do you know what it is?
No.
Okay, well, let's get rid of it then.
Maybe because I don't want them in my business.
Ah, like brown nosers would be like a big pet peeve for you.
Yeah.
Ah, that makes sense. So then every time someone's really curious and saying, hey, let me tell you all about your life, you're like, hiding details, right? You're like, you're tightening up already. My neck's already hurting thinking about it. Okay, so let's get rid of that. So this is, of course, I'm sure your favorite activity then is me brown-nosing into your mind, right? Okay, let's get rid of this idea allergy to when other people are too curious. Ooh, yeah, that's strong. No wonder. Okay. Why else do you hold on to grief long term? Now, what's funny is I'm sure in your head you're probably like, everything he's saying is nothing of what I thought he was going to find so far, right? You probably had some event in your mind.
True.
But yet I'm not finding that event, right? So kind of the perfect example of it's probably not what you think it is that keeps making you hold on to it. Doesn't mean that what you have in mind isn't the origin. But see, it's not always the origin you have to care about. It's all the stuff surrounding it that makes this thing still stick around because you already probably know what it is, right? A heart wall comes up, no surprise. You probably knew that was coming. Anything special, let it go. Hey, at least you're generous. You make it easy on me. I don't like getting too much information. I don't like working too hard. You know, I like working just hard enough. There's still more grief. Yeah, reverberation. What kind? More inherited stuff. We're back to miasms. Mom's side, dad's side only. Okay, do I have to know more about that? Is there a connection? And is this more on the mental side? Yeah, this is mental health side. So you've inherited some mental health issues from your father directly. Whew. Yeah, spicy. Anything with your dad you remember about his mental health? Okay, the chuckle tells me enough. There was a complex there. So you took a little bit of dad stuff. Okay, so that's gone though. That didn't take you long. I'm sure when I said your dad, you said, oh yeah. First thing you said, oh, I could tell you a whole story about dad. Okay, another heart wall, connection to it, anything special, let it go. So once again, another layer. Yeah, nice. Okay, why else you still alive? Okay, so this is the first time your body said, hey, that's as much as I'm willing to give, but let's see if that's true, right? Just like we saw with her, is that really the end of that layer? So are you holding on to that problem? Hey, good for you. You're not. Okay. But let's ask another question I didn't get to ask before. Is your self-esteem and your self-worth both high enough to actually give me everything? And that's not true. So this is the most common reason that the body will also hide things from me, is that people's either self-esteem, their self-worth, or both are at too low of a level. Okay. Now, what does that really mean? Well, that means, and this is common, by the way, I'm not picking on her, this is literally, I could probably do this on every person in this room and find the same thing. your physical body and your emotional stuff and all that is going to match where you think your level of deserving and self-worth is, okay? So if I have an extremely high self-worth, a true self-worth, not fake, a lot of people fake it, right? And self-esteem, also true self-esteem, not fake self-esteem. A lot of people have fake self-esteem, okay? If both of those are extremely high, people don't have physical health problems really. Life is very easy for them. They don't have a lot of problems of any kind, physical, emotional, or life-wise. It's pretty low, okay? Now, you probably have gone through life and not found many of those people. I don't find many of them either. But we probably all have an example of maybe one person where that's a little more true in your life. And they're usually the outlier in your family, your friend groups, or whatever. And you're like, oh, that's really interesting. Why is that person like that, right? Well, if you muscle tested them, you'd probably find those factors are pretty high, okay? But for the rest of us, right, the rest of us folks, we're down here, okay? We have a lot of these issues of self-worth and self-esteem. So let me pull that thread just a little. Hopefully to your comfort level, not too uncomfortable. Okay. I tend to be kind of like a dagger. I get right in there, for better or for worse. Okay, so should I pull more on the self-worth or should I pull more on the self-esteem? All right, we're going to pull more on the self-esteem because it says that's the bigger of the two. Uh-huh. Yes, yes. An intolerance to an idea, right? I don't like that idea. Get it as far away from me as possible. That then affects self-esteem. Uh-huh. And success, an intolerance to the idea of being successful. So then, once again, kind of like the money thing, the more success you get, whether your physical health improves, whether your financial health improves, whether your relationship with your spouse improves, your friendships improve, all of a sudden you're like, something doesn't sit right with me. And even to the point where you might get a physical symptom when those things happen and not really realize it, or you might lead yourself into self-sabotaging something because deep down you're actually opposed to being successful. So this is one of the drivers for people self-sabotaging. So don't need them more. And anything special, let go? Yeah, just let that go. Ah, nice. I like that. Something else for self-esteem, something else for self-worth. Hey, good for you. Something else for the grief long-term. Hey, nice, nothing there. Okay, anything blocking you from finding it? Okay, the last thing I'll ask is, no, that's not it either. Nope. Okay, I'm going to give you homework. Because right now it says, your subconscious says, I'm done, I'm cooked.
Oh, really?
Yes, it says you've gone pretty deep, probably deeper than you might realize emotionally, and it said, I'm a little uncomfortable if you keep going much deeper, is what it's telling me right now. Huh. So, but here's what I tell people. Once again, this work is very subtle, but very powerful in terms of changing energy and things like that. So I'm not really going to be surprised because your body says this is as far as I can handle in the next couple of days if you have a lot of emotional ups and downs all of a sudden. You might cry, you might be really angry all of a sudden, you might be very depressed all of a sudden, and it's bouncing around a lot. And that's because the goal of this type of work in my head is you're trying to unlock something. You're not trying to get all of it. You're basically trying to open the door where you've been stuffing stuff into for too long and you forgot where the key is. And then I kind of unlock that a little bit and I creak the door open and all of the stuff that's been piled to the ceiling that you forgot about starts spilling out of that little crack. So it will settle down, but I have a suspicion that because your body said, don't go too much further, that's probably going to happen. So just let that be. It'll pass in a couple days. It won't be too hard. But you do have homework I want to give you. It's not something to change. No, it's not connecting with something. Different activity. It's not writing. Reading. You need to read something. Okay, you need to read about something. No. It's not reading in general. About a particular category. Okay. And is that to change something? That is to change something. So I'm actually going to go to thoughts, beliefs, things like that. And I'm going to see what kind of category of book should you read about in order to change something significant, in order to let another big piece of this long-term grief go. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or 8, 9. Is that about, it's not that. Describe to me this, if I say this. What it brings up is there's some piece of you that for some reason feels like you're not allowed to be a participant in things. And you're almost like trying to hold yourself back or not, not get to the forefront. So if I say that, what does that mean to you?
That I'm holding myself back?
The statement that came up is, I'm not allowed to participate.
I'm allowed, but I don't want to.
Mm-hmm. And how long have you felt that way?
Probably a good year, maybe.
Okay, let me ask about
maybe
that.
Not quite a year, but.
That's true? Did something happen a year ago that all of a sudden you start feeling like you're just not supposed to be participating in things?
Yeah.
Or okay. Is it something really personal?
No,
Okay.
it's just where I was participating.
Uh-huh.
They weren't my people. They were.
So you felt like you were in the wrong place?
Mhm.
And then did you have like consequences for that in some way? Social consequences or a lot of emotional
Yeah,
stress?
Because I can't socialize where I used to socialize.
That's true. Okay. And then you're looking into new avenues, but there's a reservation because you're wondering somewhere probably subconsciously, could the same thing happen again?
Exactly.
So then you're not being your full self.
Correct.
So see, that's a perfect example of how psychological kinesiology can really help you. Because see, she already knows that answer, but she needs someone to give her the information that it's a fact. So in order to change it, right? So that's one of the things that I tell people. I call that recollection technique. I just gave it that name, but I'm sure someone else who's figured things out like that will have some other name for it. But I learned over years of working on people that many times, sometimes we know we're doing something, but you need someone else to highlight it for you and tell you that's a fact that you're doing it. And I don't know why that is, but for some reason, when things are up in the air, it's very hard for people to change a behavior because they don't know for sure if that's why they're doing it or if that they are doing it. So, okay, so here's my curiosity is, do you still have to read about things? See, isn't that funny? So see, what your body was trying to highlight was that you'd have to go buy some book probably on how to overcome traumas and open yourself up again after a thing.
Right.
But after talking through it and actually understanding that you're doing that, it's going to open up probably more of an opportunity now where you'll feel less uncomfortable participating more, getting more out there, being more involved.
Correct.
Because I get the feeling from you, right? People who come up right up to me like that are not the people who are not big participator, right? You're a big participator usually, probably, right? Because people are not, people who aren't participators don't come up to the person who's talking, usually, right?
Right.
I'm the guy who sits in the back and I kind of just watch all those other people do that, right? After I go to a seminar or something, I'm not usually the guy who talks to the main person. I kind of just hang out in the back and I listen to what he says to them. And then I might throw my 2 cents in as he's leaving, right, before he goes on a plane or something, right? So that'll be interesting. So I think your homework probably then is to participate more and to push through that barrier, because I think you're probably in the right place. And that's probably causing you a lot of not only emotional stuff, but that might even be causing you some physical symptoms. Right. That might even be causing, like that shoulder thing you're talking about, that might be a big part of the shoulder thing not feeling so good sometimes. Because you might be just thinking about, okay, we have that unity thing on Wednesday coming up, and I'm going to be there and be around those folks, and they might want me to do things, and you might have this whole reservation in the back of your mind without really realizing you have a reservation. But now you know you did, so I can go away. It's kind of fun.
Kind of.
I feel like the things we're talking about today are pretty intense for some reason. Everybody looks very sad. I'm not trying to make anybody sad. There's hope. The hope is you can come through that, but now you know for a fact that you were basically holding yourself back with this new group. You've been holding yourself back without realizing you've been holding yourself back and not being your full self.
Well, yeah, because my full self got me in the mess that I was in.
Well, the thing that I find is 2 things can be true at once. That probably happened one time, and that might be true. But it doesn't mean that the same thing's going to happen again. Right. And I think that's part of trying to overcome a lot of these things that I find on people when I do psychological kinesiology like this, is a lot of times, yeah, it makes sense why we got to the conclusion we came to, because it's probably true. Right? Like when we worked on her and she had that horrible thing happen at 14, I can see the logic of, okay, if I'm losing a parent plus other bad things, why I would shell up. But it can also be true that that's not a good thing to keep holding on to and assuming it's going to happen again just because it happened once. Right. Even if it happens twice. Now, if it's 10 times, okay.
I think when it happens once, it opens your eyes to not let it happen again.
Yes. Now, if it happens 10 times, then we might have some questions.
We have some
then I might validate you a little bit and say, okay, stop doing that, because that's a lot of times. 10's a lot. Okay, so now should I give you any other homework? No, because you resolved that. Any words of encouragement you need? No. And any just release of emotional? That's true. There's an emotional energy that's bubbled up on you generically. That's true. More details about it, connection. So I'll just release that so you don't feel a little funky. Because it says you got a little funky energy bubbling up from all that, bringing up all that old stuff. Ah, I feel much better now. Cool.
Cool.
You're cooked for a day. Participate more, okay?
Well, I've done
Thank
this
you. Before?
before.
Oh, and how fun is that? Learning more about yourself and digging into the hard stuff, right? Going into the weeds, if you will.
Well, I don't know what to say about that. Better to be quiet.
Yes, that's good. All right, thank you. All right. I don't know how much time I have, Heather. How much time do I have? Till 12? Anybody else brave enough? Now everybody's going to be nervous. Now everybody's like, oh my gosh, what's he going to... Oh, no, never mind. I got plenty. All right, I'll muscle test this one. I got too many options. This is getting too hard. I feel guilty if I do it based on my own bias. Is there a particular person in here who would be really good? Ah, that's true. Now I got to find you. You are the one. It's all about you. Thank you. I'll give you a clap for that. Let me tell you, I'd be pretty nervous after the first two. I'm like, oh gosh, this has been like some intense stuff. Oh, are you going to set the record? Okay.
I might.
Okay. All right. So, what is your thing, whatever it might be?
I have developed a tumor.
Ooh.
And
Okay.
I want to know why did my body create this
Specific location?
in my abdomen?
Okay. Colon,
ovary.
small intestine, ovary. Okay. Which
Ovary and-
which ovary?
I'm not sure. I think
Okay.
the left.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
I mean, in the end, it doesn't matter. I'm always just curious. Okay. And somewhere else, you said?
Pardon me?
Another location as well that you said that they know about already,
Just
or?
in my abdomen.
Okay, just in the abdomen. Okay. And how long?
I found out in February, March time frame,
Okay.
and they wanted to do some really
Invasive,
surgery.
cut it out, or
When you talk to an oncologist, the neurosurgeon, they want to do surgery.
Sure.
And everything in my being said, I'm not doing
something feels funky.
that. I'm not doing
I mean,
that.
are you kidding me? Getting cut open and laser beamed, and that doesn't sound attractive to you?
No. So
Come on.
I just intuitively feel like that there's some
Something.
energetic or subconscious reason that I've created this to encapsulate some toxic energies or something.
I believe in that.
So I'm kind of in
That's the realm.
total belief that if I cut my hand, it heals.
Sweet. I'm
So
into that
my
too.
Body heals.
I always tell people, see, that's a good point. See, the point I tell people is, look, your belief actually dictates pretty much the whole thing, right? Like the more you believe, the more, the bigger your box gets, the more possibilities you have. And I tell people, worst case, you believe you're going to heal and you don't, okay.
Yeah.
But if you don't believe you can heal, then you're definitely not gonna.
Not going to.
So I always tell people it doesn't hurt to believe the most incredible thing, right? I always tell people in my head when I work on people, I said, I believe that an amazing miracle is going to happen and they're going to float from the floor and this is going to be the most incredible thing we've ever seen, right?
Yeah.
And even if that doesn't occur, well, at least I believe it's going to happen because otherwise I don't open the space. So I like that. So, okay, let's get...
Kind of my thought process is, why did I create this? Or why did my body create this? And what do I do about it now?
Okay,
It kind
I
of
like
in
that
there,
question
yeah.
now.
Whoop, whoop, there goes the microphone.
There goes the mic. I was just clearing my energy from working on everybody else. I want to make sure you got my full attention. Okay. All right, so give me a sec here. Ooh, you have nice energy. That's lovely. It's like sitting in a warm bath. You're unique. That's interesting and why I picked you. There's somebody here for you. So I'm going to tell you something really interesting. It's about to get really trippy. It's about to get weird, folks.
Yay.
You got something interesting happening already.
I love weird.
Somebody's here for you. Okay. Hold on. This is where my, I call it the fake psychic ability appears because I have like a partial psychic ability, but then I always muscle test it to see if I'm right. So it's not, kind of like it's a midway thing. But like right off the bat, the second I connected to you, I got like a picture in my head that says somebody's here and this is very important. Somebody's guide. One of your guides is here. Okay. And there's a message for you. Okay. Does it have to do with this cancerous thing? It does. Oh boy. Okay, so now I got to take a second. So some kind of presence or something, and I get a picture of something's like squeezing you. It's like compressing you down.
That's interesting. I felt that for the last week. I felt
There's some
so
kind of bad
constricted.
presence or something, and it's like constricting you like this, and it's creating some of this illness. What is that? I got it. I'm understanding now. Is it more than one? No. Is it a really bad one? That's why. How long you had that? You had that since childhood, since earlier than childhood, since preconception? Wow, this has been a long time coming. Past life thing? 1 life ago, 2 lives ago, 1 life ago. Nope. Okay. Do I need to know more about that? Is there a connection? Anything special to let that go? What it says is, since your previous life before this one, you have a really dark being presence, like a dark presence thing, and it's just like sucking the life out of you. And it's been stuck since your last life. And it just keeps following you around, and it's compressing you and trying to make your life worse and create this illness. So I'm going to get rid of it if you don't mind. I'm sure you're sick of having a passenger.
Yes, I am.
Oh, here it goes. Oh, yikes. Oh, boy. Ah, that's heavy. I don't say that too often, but that is extremely heavy. That even makes me tired. Ugh, yucky. That's gone. You still got it? Okay. Anything I can do to clean up some of that leftovers? So there's a leftover. I feel yucky. I feel like gross. 1, 2, 1 point. I'm going to use the number 1. So I'm going to give you the number 1. Oh, here we go. I like that. I'm starting to feel a little better now. Okay. You still got that? Okay. Anything left over from this gross thing? Okay. And your guide's gone. All right, so he plays his part. Appreciate the help. That was cool. Okay, so now I'm going to ask you some questions about this tumor thing. And so why was that probably highlighted? Probably because this thing would have kept me from actually getting information. The thing about entities and dark stuff like that is they have the capability to block muscle testing sometimes. They'll hide stuff. Even though you want to get rid of it, your subconscious might even want to get rid of it. But this thing that's like suckering to you will sit here playing defense all day, blocking all my questions. And it might even send me into an incorrect path that's totally wrong and has nothing to do with anything for you. So that's probably why that was highlighted first. Heart wall comes up for you, right? Protecting, right? Protecting your heart. Nothing else about it. Anything special, let it go. Okay. Once again, everybody's been pretty easy on me. Oh, yeah. I like that. That's gone. Okay. Why else do you have a tumor? Okay, you're actually going to some physical things. A toxin of some kind. Environmental. All right, so environmental is toxins. Okay, I got you. Okay, more details about it, a connection. Anything special, let these go. Now, in your case, you need the something special part to get these out of here. All right, so let's go through some options, right? We could do homeopathics, herbs, no, magnets, colored lights, homeopath, no, not that type. Tapping, neurovascular, neurolymphatic points. Neurolymphatic points. So neurolymphatic points, right? What are those? That's like a fancy term for these physical regions on the body, front, back, and the sides, where if you do things to them, you rub them, you put an essential oil on them, you tap them, you do energy work on them, they then influence to detox the body. And so I'm going to go pull up my chart here. Let me go find out where I saved it. There you are. And I'm going to figure out where I got to go. Is it on your back or neck? No. Is it on your legs? It's on your legs. Both legs? No. It's on your right leg. Outside, inside. And it's that guy. It's on the back area right here in your hamstring area on the back of the right leg. So I do have to do something specific to that. Yeah. It's not a magnet. It's not essential oil. It's not a homeopathic. It's not rubbing it. It's not tapping it. It's not swiping it. It's not pressure. And it's energy work. Okay. Does the energy there need to move in a particular direction? No. I just have to have the intention of healing it. Okay, can I see the back of your right leg there for a sec? Just right here. Let me make sure I'm in the right spot. Okay, just let it bend. That's fine. Am I in the right spot? Yeah, okay, cool. So I'm just going to take a second here. So I'm just healing by touch with the intention that this is going to get well. Lots of energy there, eh? Nice. Okay. Did I do everything I have to do there? Yeah, that was easy. Once again, I don't like to work too hard. That's why I muscle test. Something else I got to do about that, anything there. So what I basically did there was, now are these physical in nature or are they energetic? Okay, cool. So they were energetic in nature. So that's why I probably wanted energy work, is that you had stored the energy of a toxin in that part of your leg. And I just wanted somebody to say, hey, get on out of there. So luckily that means you probably get to skip the unfun part, which would be a detox in a day or two. So luckily that's probably not going to happen to you, so that's good.
Oh, that's good.
Okay, something else for this. Okay, now your body is now saying, well, hey, there's nothing else there. Now, we have this pretty nasty thing. We have a tumor, okay? 3 reasons possible, maybe, in this layer, but there might be more that's hiding. So once again, I want to ask that question. Is your body trying to hide more reasons? So is she holding on to this problem? No. Good for you. So do you want the problem? No. Here's a good question I haven't asked yet with people. Do you believe in deep down, deepest level of your subconscious, does your subconscious actually believe it's possible to get rid of this on your own? And there's where our sticking point is. You might believe that this can go away. Your subconscious is on another whole thing and says, no, not really. It's one of those things, right? I've heard this a million times on Oprah and all other things, right? It's like cancer's a killer, right? You can't fix it, blah, blah, blah. So, okay, so your subconscious doesn't believe it's possible. So now I got to figure out, why doesn't your subconscious believe what you believe, which is, yeah, it's totally possible. Does your subconscious have rules? Has rules. Right, so a rule is, right, like here's a rule that I don't like that a lot of people have. Healing cannot happen instantaneously. Healing takes a long time. That's a common rule, right? So then you might do the right thing and you have a total capability to instantaneously heal this, but you've set a rule at some point that said, well, it takes time. It has to happen over a year or 6 months or, so let me see, is it rules that are really the problem? Rules are the problem. So let's ask your body about, okay, well, what kind of rules have you set? Okay, so do we have a rule about time frames for healing? That's true. So let's just kind of throw one out there that's common. Do you have a rule that it takes a while to heal something? That's true. So it takes a while to heal something. Okay. Do you have another significant rule? Okay, that's your main one. So let's ask more about it. Do we have to know more? We do. Oh, that's cool. When you started thinking that? No. Where you got it from? Now that's interesting. So I call this the source of where it came from. So I'm going to go to a separate chart, and I'm going to see, well, why does this thing get stuck in the back of your mind? What is the reason? Is that from the place? No. Is it from your time there? Your time in the womb. So your time in try 1, 2, and 3 is where all of a sudden you believe this thing that it takes time to heal something. And is that, now here's always another question, is that this womb? Okay, just want to make sure. Because I'll find past life womb stuff too, which is really weird. And if you want to get even weirder, I find future life things too. Because time's all at the same time.
That's cool.
So I'll find future life you doing something that's also affecting this one, okay?
Don't do it in the future.
Right. You're like, dang it, why am I still doing this in the future? Okay, well, because it's all now. All right, so do I need to know more? No. Is there a connection to that? Anything special to delete this rule? No. So we're just going to erase this rule you've set, that it takes a while to heal things, that built throughout your entire time in your mom's womb. It's a strong rule. Okay. Do you still have that rule? Okay. So now I'm going to ask again. Does your subconscious believe that's possible to actually cure this cancer and to cure it easily and rapidly? How about even instantaneously? Now we're talking.
Yeah.
See? Mm-hmm. So a lot of times when things don't heal, okay, sometimes it's the skill level of the practitioner. That can be true. But other times, it's ourselves that are actually dictating our box of what's possible to do something with, right? I tell people, if you have incredible belief, right, 100% belief, 100% self-esteem, 100% self-worth, 100% I deserve this, And the last factor is you didn't pre-plan this way to go. Okay, that's the last one. That's kind of important because if you did your pre-planning life session before you came here and you said cancer is the way I chose to go, well, of course, then you can have all the 4 factors there, but you can't change the big plan you set before you came here, right? So that's the only factor that would hold somebody back, is if that was part of somebody's plan. So let's ask the question again, though. Is your subconscious still, nope, okay, good. So now can I find more stuff? Yes, I can. Let's find another one. So now we're back on to why do you have it? See, so once again, that's how important that is because it knows the reasons. It's just hiding them sometimes. Heart wall, no surprise. Connection, anything special to let it go? No. Another layer of heart protection. Yeah, we let that go. That's nice. Okay, another reason. And once again, I get a blank. Okay, so now, once again, believing it's possible, yes. Holding on to the problem, no. Self-esteem, is that high enough? Yes. Self-worth is high enough? Yes. Level of deserving, is that high enough? Yes. Does anything as an outside factor block me from finding things? No. Okay, so then is that all that's actually then 100% without lying to me available at the moment for the problem? And that's true. Not too much.
Not too much.
But I will say the first one was pretty spicy. That was probably worth it alone. That was worth the price of admission alone, is this nasty creature thing. I kind of, what was in my head was a picture of like, what's that fairy tale thing with she eats the apple and she dies and then you kiss her, bring her back to life. Yeah. I saw like the little, she's like squeezing your heart like this, squeezing and creating this disease. So that's what kind of came to my head when I was asking for, right, from allegedly one of your people on your team. So you got some helpers, which is cool.
Yeah, wanting to connect with them.
Yes.
To have them, that connection.
Yes.
With my guides and my helpers.
Yeah, well, hey, nothing wrong with just making a conversation and then, I find the big thing for me is you have to listen and pay attention.
That's what I keep trying.
Because they kind of do it, right? But they kind of do it subtly. It's like they get your attention subtly. And I think that's because there's probably some rules that you can't break sometimes, right? Unless it's like an emergency, right? We've all heard the story of where someone's about to get in a car accident and then they see a person grab their wheel and turn it and like this person just appears out of nothing and then all of a sudden disappears 2 seconds later when the EMTs arrive and you're like, oh, that person helped me. And then they're like, who is that? Right? Well, obviously somebody broke that rule because there must be an exception where you can do this sometimes, right? But I think for the majority of the time, they have to just kind of like lightly tap your shoulder and whisper extremely quietly. And unless you're really paying attention, you won't even know they're trying to get your attention. I just got better at paying attention because, I just get to do this every day, which is awesome. And so when I was not very good at it, I didn't pay attention very well. So they're probably sitting here poking both my shoulders and slapping me around, and I'm sitting here just, working on people, having no idea. Yeah. And then I had a couple of experiences where I picked up on how they did it, and I was like, and I memorized that feeling. See, so the feeling when I connected to you was the same feeling I get when other people have help arriving. I had a really fun one this last week where an archangel came for somebody, which was pretty crazy. Because that only happens to me maybe 3 times a year where someone with that high energy level or clout, I don't know, in that hierarchy comes around. It only happens like 3 times a year. And so I just started talking with this person I just started working on, and all of a sudden like something in this room was different. The whole room started vibrating and it was warm and I'm feeling like I'm in a nice hot tub and someone's like massaging my shoulders. It's this incredible feeling that that level of power has. And so I already knew like in 3 seconds, I'm like, ooh, someone's here for you. That's like way above my pay grade. And the message was for them that they had a massive message, right? And so what was really interesting about that situation, this happened last week, I said, okay, give me the message just like I did with you. And usually I just get a picture and I just and I ask about the picture or I get, right, and I get the information. Now it was not this time. What happened was I said, give me the information, and all of a sudden a sentence started like in my head. And I just auto-wrote it. It was really crazy. I just wrote what was in my head, and I didn't even look at it. And then I looked down, and I saw it, and I was like, holy shit, that's a really cool message. I was like, wow. I'm like, that was really amazing. It was like eloquent. It was like old-timey speak, and I was like, wow, that's really interesting.
Actually got the channel download.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It never happened before. I was like, I look at that, I was like, holy shit, that's like way above me. I'm like, that ain't me. It can't be me. I'm like, I don't write that intelligently. That sounded really smart. So I'm hoping that happens more often. I'm going to throw that out there for whoever's like hangs out with me and helps me work on people. I'll take more of that because I'm I'm just a
That's
channel.
awesome.
I'm just like, give that to me. I just have that cool job, right? I'll just be the guy that writes stuff. Okay, so last question I'll ask for you. Any homework I should give you? Any energy I need to clean up or anything to do? Okay, so, and then, no, for you, it's just simple. Let it ride. See what happens. I don't know what's going to happen. But I think probably the most significant thing was you had, unfortunately, a goalie, right, that you didn't realize that was probably batting away a lot of the things you've been doing.
Well, it's
So-
interesting what you said about the womb, because I was very anxious. I kept trying to come early.
Ah,
And
so
then
something may have been going on in
Yeah,
the
I was-
womb.
and when you said that about the being in the womb.
Yes. Well, that's where healing takes time. So you might have had something
Time.
either physically or emotionally that was not so fun going on at that time. And so, right, that may have been what set the rule is
That's
maybe,
funny, I
you
never
know.
thought about it going clear back to the womb, you know. You
Oh,
always
yes.
think it's some traumatic event that, well, my whole birth was traumatic too.
Yes.
I was breech, I was born one leg first, and
Yes.
the other one, and then I got delayed and pushed back, and
Well,
so
that
there's
may make sense with that thought because, right, you probably
you
had to
have
do a
try and
lot to
turn me
fix.
around, and-
That's right. See, you had to probably do a whole process to fix the health issues you were experiencing in the womb. So then it kind of made sense, right? See, once again, kind of like your thing, right? You have this experience, you have a legitimate reason for starting to think this way, but now all it does is hold you back, right? Without realizing it, and you don't remember many times these things. In your case, obviously, you're not going to remember that unless you're really gifted. That would be pretty cool. Some people can. But now you hold that your whole life, and then you don't realize that your whole life, that actually limits your ability to heal yourself, right? Because it means that you do the right thing, right? You make the right diet change, and then yours, what happens? It takes time. Now you do the right diet change, and it's like, right? And then, you know, your family member over here does it. Guy loses 10 pounds and feels fantastic. Skin clears, he's glowing. It's like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. And you're like, why does mine take so long?
Yeah, I'm
Right?
doing diet changes and detoxes.
Yeah.
And doing all the right things, reading all the right things, listening to the right things,
That's
doing
right.
the right meditations, and just inundating myself with everything I can get my hands on.
And that's all still the right things. I always just tell people it's just that the amazing thing is that we can literally be the biggest factor about limiting ourselves without even realizing that we're limiting ourselves. Because you can have two people basically in the same person, right? You have that version of yourself, but then you have that version of yourself too. And then sometimes there is outside factors, and you had an outside factor. Like I said, it was just, you know, we got a lot of pickleballers probably in here, right? Hitting the ball away from, right? Every time someone's serving you, they're like, right? Beating it away and not letting you get better. So we'll see what happens. I hope something cool happens. That'd be nice. Send me an email. See if something cool happens.
I will do that.
That was cool.
Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
I'm gonna take the card right
Oh,
now.
yeah, awesome. Send me an email. I'd love to see what happens in a week. All right, I think I got time for one last one, right? Okay, all right. Now, do I test for this one too? I do. You right there. You're coming up. It says you're a good choice to show me something cool. Oh boy. Okay. So maybe that's why we picked you, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't even think I have to ask what's going on. There's something going on. Now, is that a pain you're having?
Nope.
What does it feel like? Is it a restriction or is it like,
To be able to
oh,
stand
you
up
feel
straight.
weak, like a weakness
Well,
almost?
just in the upper.
So inability to stand up straight and walk without a limp would be kind of how I'd probably write that, because you have a little limp as you kind of hitch in your step as you walk along.
Oh, I did.
Oh, I don't know if you know that. Okay, well, you do. I wish I could have videoed it. Yeah, because you have a walk where every couple steps you go like this.
Really?
Yeah, you keep leaning over the side with the limp. Okay, so, all right, let me disconnect from the last person. Let's spend a little time on you. That's nice. I like that. Okay, can we work on something in this realm? Yeah, we can work on something there. So let's kind of ask some questions here. Takes me right to pathogens. Right off the bat, I get to pathogens. And I go to a bacterial infection. Okay. And just for fun, right? Because I like to get more information sometimes just for shits and giggles, as they say. It's in a gland, little shits and giggles, and it's in your thyroid gland. So we have a thyroid type issue. Do you still have your thyroid?
Yes, but I take medication for it.
Are we all shocked? She has thyroid disease. She's on thyroid
I
medication.
take medication.
So are we surprised? Only if you've never been muscle tested before and found it was accurate. Probably you're like, that's really weird. Did you get lucky? Okay, so do we need to know more about this bacterial thing? No. Is there a connection to it? No. But do we have to do something in particular for you to start clearing this infection? And that's true. So there's some specific thing that's going to unlock this for your body to clear it. So magnets, lights, homeopathics. Now, see, I brought some just in case that happened. So are any of those going to work? You got to love that. You got to love that. I brought you 38 options. What are you hungry for? Okay. So let me flip this up. Okay, let's kind of go through rows here. Okay, one of my green fellows or fellettes here. And clematis flower tests. Okay. So that's made from a flower. The clematis flower, if we didn't pick up on that yet. Is that internal? It is. 1 drop, 2 drops, 3 drops. 2 drops under the tongue if you don't mind. Now, you have any problems with alcohols of any kind? Any allergy? Okay. That's the only thing that in here that would bother you, if anything at all. Okay. Lift the tongue for me up to the ceiling of the mouth. Up towards that way. Lift the head back a bit. There you go. Let me get a little vertical here. I'll give you 3 just in case. I want that bacteria to go. Okay, so did I give you a big enough dose? Yes. Is there something else I need to do to stimulate your thyroid to dump that bacterial infection? No, I don't. So I'm going to move on from it for now. Now, your question is probably going to be, is that it? That's all it's going to take to kill that? We'll see. Maybe, maybe not. But what it's basically saying is there's nothing else to do for it right now. So at a later date, it might, if I tested you again, it might say, hey, I have another layer available to you to fix more of that bacteria that wasn't available this time. Or if we're really lucky, you're going to go home today and have the biggest bowel movement of your life, and all of a sudden your energy is going to spike up, and you're going to say, my God, what did that thing do? So hopefully you make it there. No, just kidding. I don't think I've ever had that happen before. So luckily, yeah. Okay, so now is there another reason I have available? That's true. So we got more available. Although I can't say that's never happened. Maybe once. Okay, emotional stuff comes up, and a heart wall, right? Protecting yourself. All right, so details about it, a connection. Anything special to release it? Nope. You know what's interesting about that? Because a lot of people who remove heart walls in this work usually have to get all these details about them, and all of a sudden this year I don't. And I'm like, that's really weird. Why don't I need all these details anymore? I worked on my programs, setting up my own rules, and I realized that because someone had told me that there was a rule that you, in order to get rid of these, you had to have this much detail, I had set a rule for myself where that was true. So what happened? Every time I found a heart wall, I had to find more details. So then I said, I don't want that. Get that out of there. And then sure enough, what happened? Now I can just get rid of them. I don't have to have more details most of the time. Sometimes, but not many times. So you still have that? No, that's gone. So why else can't you stand up straight? We're going back to pathogens again. So for you, this is heavily a chemical problem. This is a chemistry issue. Another bacterial infection. So we have multiple. Let's see where this one's at. Another gland. In the brain. More specific. Yes. In your amygdala. And you're like, what is that? Let me do my cheat sheet. Basically, it's near the temporal lobes. Fight or flight reaction. So that's what puts people into that anxious reaction where, right, you get tighter in your muscles, you get sweaty, and you're trying to run from something that you don't like very much. This would be like if I threw you on stage, right? You have stage fright, and all of a sudden you're sweating, you're getting a little lightheaded, and your heart starts going like this. That's the kind of reaction we're talking about. So that's the part of the brain that has this infection. Okay, so details about it. Connection, anything special to let this go? Okay, yeah, you got a couple things that are special. Magnet, essential oils, another homeopathic, colored light. Look at you, you're giving me all these fun ones. So that's what I have here. So this is a flashlight, does 4 colors, green, red, blue, white, something like that. We need to use that on you. Yeah, does it matter where? No, green, blue, red. All right, I'm fine with that.
May I say one thing?
Yeah, give it to me.
I have magnets in my shoes. Should
Oh,
I
okay.
take my shoes off?
No, don't worry about that at all. Hold this like that on your palm of one of your hands. That's all you got to do. Is that working? Beautiful. So that's where light therapy works, right? The only thing that separates a person who does a lot of light work on people, right? They might have you look at colors, right? Color therapy, right? Paint your house a certain way, or they have you look at certain colors, or right? Some people lay in colored beds, right? Red light beds or blue lights or whatever, purple. It's just, do you need that color to do something or not? That's what I found. And so she just, for whatever reason, needs red to get rid of this. Okay, I'm fine with that. It could have said green, blue, yellow, I don't care, but I got to give her body that color. So you need more time with that. Is there anything else I need to do about that bacterial thing? Nope, so you just keep going. While you're doing your homework, I'm going to ask some more questions about why you can't stand upright and walk without a limp. Okay, is it an organ, a gland, or an entire system? It's an entire system of your body that's having a struggle. Let's see which one it is. It's your circulatory system is having trouble. All right, so that's your blood flow. Okay, and is that communicating something? Yes, it is. So systems, organs, and glands, okay, they can actually communicate psychological things. Negative thoughts that you have, they can communicate emotions that you're stuck in. And as long as those keep putting that message out, your circulatory system keeps suffering, causing you problems, right? And why would that make sense with posture? Well, if you don't have enough blood flow going to your muscles, to your brain, to whatever, right, you're weak. Right. They don't work, right? So, because you need blood flow. So let's just see what your circulatory system is kind of putting off so that we can pull that out of there so it functions better. You're a safety case as well. So a lack of safety. So let's go a little deeper. Oh, well, we're getting a theme here. Okay, and is that from this lifetime? Childhood, teenage years, 10 to 15, 15 to 20, age 15, age 16. Details about it, a connection, anything special, let that go. So the circulatory system for you is putting off a similar thing to what she had. I fear that this is going to happen again, and it's something that happened to you at age 16. So you went through something at age 16, it was not fun, and then since then you've been fearful that that same type of thing might happen to you again. You don't have to remember it. I'm going to get rid of it while you're thinking. But I'm going to tell your circulatory system, hey, we don't have to keep putting this message off from age 16. Nice. And that's gone. And is the light still going? No need. Cooked. Thank you. Anything else on the light? Anything else for that infection? Beautiful. Anything else for that circulatory at the moment? No. And why else aren't you able to stand up and walk upright? Toxins. So for you, it's very chemical. Environmental toxins. So you must have had a hard time getting rid of toxins over time. Anything special, let this go? And this is just energy. Nice. So it's going to let go of the energy of environmental toxins that hold you back. Okay? All right, now this is where your body gives me its first, yeah, that's as much as I'm willing to give. I don't know if I believe that yet. So I'm going to ask a couple of other probing questions. Do you want to get rid of the bad posture? Well, there's the first problem. No desire to get rid of it. Now, once again, that's not you. That's your subconscious, smaller version of you is purposely hunching yourself. So now I got to figure out why is it on purpose trying to slouch itself? You're off chart. I got to go to another of my apps. Yeah, fear. Okay, a specific fear. You're afraid of something very particular. And that's common, right? You ever seen teenagers these days and how they all look? And they don't look like they used to? You see how slouched they all are all the time?
Oh, yeah.
Look like they never have come out. They might hiss at you if the light turns on, right? Right? Why do they look like that? Because they're purposely, right, compressing themselves because of the social awkwardness and the fear of interactions, right? Your guys' generation didn't have all the technology that made you inept at talking to somebody face to face. Mine started getting it, but we got it later, so we were kind of still formed mostly normal. Okay, this generation has it from the moment of birth. They've already got an iPad since the age of 1. So what happens is they tune out all noise, all the earth, right? You go to a restaurant, they're having brunch, and they're staring at this thing. They don't know how to handle their emotions. The only way they can handle emotion is to distract themselves. So that's why they all do this on purpose, right? They're scared to have social interactions. So I'm going to go into my chart of fears, and let's just see what your subconscious is afraid of that then makes you shrink yourself on purpose. No. Yep. Okay, details about that. Is there a connection? Anything special to release it? The fear of not being the best possible version of myself, not being a good enough person. So kind of almost back to a self-worth thing in some way. And so then you're like, well, I'm pretty good, but I'm not really sure if I'm like, really crushing it as being a person. So let me shrink myself so I don't look cocky or I don't look like I'm, right, pushing buttons or something, right, to humble yourself. So let's let go of this fear of not being the best possible version. Ooh, that's pretty strong. Mm-hmm. Do you still have that fear? Do you have another version of the same thing? Okay. Does your subconscious want to get rid of it? Not yet. More fear.
Stubborn.
Nah, just normal. They're all like that. Let me tell you, I work on a lot of subconsciouses. They're very similar. Okay, it's a different fear. No surprise there. The fear of rejection. Fear of being rejected. More details, a connection. Anything special to let that go? Nope. Generic fears of rejection. Nice. Okay. Does her subconscious still not want to get rid of this? Does it want to get rid of it now? Hey, thank you. I like that. Okay. So then why else do we have this big slouch? More pathogens. Boy, it is a pathogen party for you. This is infections galore. Okay. Is it physical? Oh, hey, there we go. It's just the energy. Okay, hey, that's easier. It's just the energy. It's not physical anymore, and it's bacterial energy. Okay. Got leftovers. Details, connection, anything special to release it? Yep. Ooh, strong. Uh-huh. Still got it. Okay, so once again, I get a blank and ask a couple more probing questions. Is the self-esteem high enough to actually stand up straight? Nice. Self-worth is high enough? Yes. Is your belief that this is a correctable permanently in that way, is that possible for you? And do you believe that? You do believe that. Another question I like to ask is, okay, are your muscles actually doing their jobs to actually allow you to do that? And that's not true. So basically what's happening is your muscles are shut off and they're just not even trying to hold your posture up. They're basically just letting you fold over. So they're just not trying, they're not on board, not doing their jobs. Uh-huh. All right, so let me ask a couple questions about why your muscles don't do their jobs. Another infection. It's an infection day. Fungus. Hey, at least it's not a bacteria. It's a fungus. Okay, fungus among us. Good joke. More details, a connection. Anything special to get rid of this? Something special. All right, homeopathic, essential oils, colored lights, magnets. That's why you got picked. You're giving me like a variety of fun reasons to get rid of stuff. So this is a magnet, just a generic $15, 2 poles on each side and just neutral kind of in the center there. So we just have to figure out where this has to go. So on the front of your body somewhere, yeah, head or neck, chest, the center of the chest. Doesn't matter where it goes. Can I have you hold that just right there? Yep. And is that the correct pole? Oh, let me flip it. Wrong pole. And is that the correct pole? Not the right pole. Let me flip it again. Hold it like that. And is that the correct pole? Now we're good. So now we're just going to let that magnet sit on the chest. So, it's funny is, this kind of goes back to chiropractic history, right? Like medicine's biggest problem with us that they always make a poke fun at us is like, well, your founder was a magnetic healer, like that's supposed to hurt my feelings. And I'm like, it works though. I'm like, if you've ever actually used magnets, they work incredibly well when they're the right pole. That's what you have to learn, right? You have to know it's the right pole and it has to be in the right place. It's got to be in the right place, the right time, and the right pole. North Pole, South Pole, and then in some cases it wants like this kind of neutral thing where it's a little bit of both. Okay, so do you need more time on that? Yes, you do. So while you're cooking on that, let's just see, is there another major reason that your muscles don't do their job? That's true. Something wrong with your skeleton, and it's axial, and your skull. More specific. Oh, we're going real specific. Temporal bone. Okay, let me see if it's both or just one. Is it on both sides? No. Is it your left one? Is it your right one? It's your right side temporal bone. That's the guy that sits right here. You just can't see it very well.
I wish I could record this.
Oh, I got it right here. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
Misaligned. It's out of place. Oh boy, here comes chiropractic. See, there's still a need for chiropractic. It's just when and where, right? Because is there a connection to this? No. Can we just move it? See, this is the nice thing. We can just move it. Have you ever moved a skull bone before?
No.
It's painful and torturous. It's going to be horrible. No, I'm just kidding. It's such a small joint, you're not even going to know I moved it. Is it okay if I move that for you?
Absolutely.
Okay. So what I'm going to do in my head, right, is I get now, right, this is where some intelligence is kind of needed. You kind of have to know what a skull looks like in your head to then ask her body how it needs to go in 3D, right? So you kind of have to have a little bit of knowledge, just not a lot. So, all right, so in my head, I'm like, okay, is it in or out this way? That's not true. My next question is it forward or backwards like that? It's not. Does it need to be turned forward or back? And that's where I get the first hit. So I either need to take that bone and just push it like this a little bit, or I need to pull it back a little bit like this. So do I need to pull it back? No. Do I need to pull it forward like this? And that's true. So you keep holding the magnet. Here comes the torture. You ready? It's going to be like 10 minutes of torture. You ready? Watch this. It already moved. Thank you. My goodness, that must have been a 10 out of 10 pain for you. So what's funny about that is the moment I even put my hand on there and before I barely moved it, it already clicked. So the rest of that motion was just me making sure I got the whole thing. But the moment I put my palm there and like literally maybe a half a millimeter, it already went click, click.
Could I hear the click?
No, too quiet. So the thing with the skull bones is the joints are so small, and because they don't have that disc like a vertebrae does, right? That's why everybody's like, oh, did that move? All week long I do skull bones, and people are like, well, I don't think it did anything, because there's not a disc in between where there's gas, so it can't make big clicks because right? It's bone on bone. Okay, so you still got that temporal bone thing? Nope, that's gone. Fix that, and the magnet's done. See, that was nice. You just killed a fungus. Now, I'm going to give you a different warning than I gave everybody else. Yours are mostly actual physical infections, which means they must physically still come out of the body. So what I did there is your body right now is now stimulated to kill them, which it's doing right now without you realizing it. So by tonight or tomorrow, they're going to probably come out. And that only happens in the bathroom or sweat or pee. That's the only 3 places that's going to come out. So if all of a sudden tonight you're like, whew, I am wiped. I am very tired. My gut's churning and doing weird stuff. I'm sweating. My armpits are stinky in the next couple days. Just know that's because you're flushing all these infections out. So my only advice to you, lots of water, let it happen. It'll clear itself in like 2 days.
So go straight home.
No. You'll be okay. But if we're lucky, none of that'll happen and they'll just kind of gently come out and you won't even know it. You'll just feel maybe a little better. But I'm going to give you the warning I give everybody who has mostly actual physical things. They have to still come out physically. Okay, so something else for the muscles not doing their job. Okay, are at least now the majority of your muscles starting to do their job? Yes. And probably because you're the last person I'll be able to work on, let me go individual muscles and then we'll have you test it out. We'll have you walk. Does that sound kind of fun? We'll see if I'm full of baloney or not. So, okay, are any muscles in here I'm looking at, are there any individual muscles that aren't holding your posture up correctly? Are there any individual muscles in here that are just ripping tight and make you have a limp? That's true. So who are the muscles that are so tight that actually causes you to slouch over and have a limp? Okay, it's taking me to your chest. Pectoralis minor. So this makes sense for you. So you see how you have this thing? Mm-hmm. Okay? That's because these muscles here, pec minor, it goes from that area to this area, and it does this. Mm-hmm. So if you have a spasm in those, that's what the shoulders do, right? The shoulders are going to come immediately forward, and they're going to hunch like this because this is too tight. So is it too tight on both sides for you? And it is. It's spasmed on both sides. So what does that do? Well, it doesn't let you sit up straight, right? You'll try to sit up straight, and it's always going to be pulling your chest and head down. Okay, so let's ask about it. Why not? You guys finding this interesting, or am I crazy? Okay, good. I know there's a couple people sleeping, but I was letting it go. It's early morning. I get it. It's 2 hours. I mean, it's a marathon. We're all in the weeds together. Okay, another fungal infection. How interesting is that? Just pathogen after pathogen after pathogen. So what probably happened to you, just to give you reference, at some point your immune system got weak, and then it has just over the years allowed one infection after the next to kind of compound. And then the more infections you have, the more you get, right? Because the immune system keeps getting weaker each time because it has to keep throwing energy to try to fight the ones you already have plus the new ones.
Could it have anything to do with operations, hernia?
Yes, because they can introduce infections in, or sometimes what happens is you get a surgery and that heavily weakens your body for a period of time, right? Because of all the recovery, the drugs they had to put you under, especially anesthesia, right? That's not like a small drug, right? That really knocks you out. And sometimes even the scar on the skin will actually shut down your meridian system, and that's what shut down your immune system. So I might want to ask that question because that's probably a relevant question for you. Okay, so do you need to know more about that fungal infection? I don't. Anything special to get rid of it? Yeah, special stuff all the time. Homeopathics, essential oils. See, this is why I picked you. See, it's like it's a different thing each time. How cool is that? I got a little bit of each. Look at this. Now, all my doTERRA and Young Living people are like horrified right now because I've got like Now Nutrition, cheapy, $10. It works though. I'm sorry. I can't, I'm not made of money. They work. I use too many essential oils to keep buying doTERRAs. They're so expensive. Okay. If it was just me, I would, but I use these on too many people. All right. So orange essential oil. Okay. Any problems with orange?
No.
Okay. Now we got to ask how I have to use this, right? Well, usually it's externally, right? So on the skin, that's true. On the front of the body, the back of the body, the side of the body. So it's either going to be this side, or both. So is it on your left side, your right side? So somewhere on the right side between the side of your head or all the way down to your ankle, that's where it's got to go. So is it on the head? Is it on the neck? Is it on the arm? Is it on the chest? On the abdomen? On the leg? So somewhere on the right leg. Femur? No, so I just left that whole thing out. On the side of your tibia. Okay, so we're going to be going over here. Now I just got to figure out where on the side of this leg here. So, yep, you got it. All right, are we going lower? Yep, lower. Yep, lower. See, now I get a weakness. Okay. Am I moving my hand anywhere else? Yep. Am I going more forward? Yep. More forward? Yep. More forward? No. Right here? So this is exactly where it has to go. It's got to go right here. So I'm just going to get a little bit. So you're going to smell like oranges. Yeah, that's a bonus. And I go straight on with this one because that is the benefit of having a cheaper essential oil like Now Nutrition is it's not so concentrated that they get a burn mark or something, right? Versus I found if you use the more quality oils, they tend to be, they need a carrier oil because otherwise it irritates people's skin. It's another reason I use these because then I can use these without having to dilute them. Okay, so we did our little fun piece there. All right, anything else I got to do to get your body to clear that out finally? How simple is that, right? So what I learned over the years, just as a side note, right, is I accumulated all these tools, right? Because sometimes what I found what I would learn from all the gurus, right, is everybody's a little bit dogmatic about their thing, right? The essential oil people would sometimes tell me, well, essential oils are the cure for everything in the earth. And I thought, that doesn't seem to be true in my practice. Why isn't that happening for me? And then I would go to chiropractic seminar, and they're like, chiropractic heals everything on this earth. And I'm like, why doesn't that happen for me? And the same thing when I go to the energy work seminar, the same thing for, and what I learned is they're all great. They're all amazing. But they have to be at the right place at the right time for the right person on the right part of the body. And that's it. That's what I learned over the years. So that's why I have so many fun and interesting tools, and I've never dedicated myself to being just this one thing, right? That's why I'm not the magnetic healing guy, or that's why I'm not the essential oils healer or the sound healer. See, I'll use sound too. That's the only thing I didn't bring was my speaker. So sometimes people's body wants a sound. This is how fun muscle testing is. You just have them hold a speaker, and you can muscle test the exact frequency that they need, and just let them hold it. And how fun is that? So that's how really cool that can get. Okay, so is there anything else we got to do to get the spasms out of your pec minors? Well, that's nice. So your shoulders might feel a little bit looser as we wait along here and let that kind of die off. Are either of those too tight? Nope. Let's get one more muscle, then we'll have you test it out. Anybody else in here too tight? Nope. Okay. Can I get you any taller than that right now? So it says that's as tall as I'm going to get you. You ready to give it a try? Okay, give it a shot. Go walk that way.
That way?
Yeah, you pick a direction. Whatever direction you want. Let's see if you get any faster or more upright. I don't know, we'll see. Oh, hey! Who's a little taller? I'm into that. That's pretty good. Not bad. Now, is it perfect? Well, no, I wouldn't expect perfect in 20 minutes. But you're definitely not as slouchy. How's the air up there? A little different? Better oxygen quality?
Yep.
You want to be farthest away from other people's rear ends. You want to be up. You want to be up. There's a lot of reasons for that. You want the better air quality. It's up here. It's up here. Better breezes.
Yeah, because I'm constantly looking down.